All right guys, welcome back to Turbo Time. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own helper bag controller for any truck really, but this one will be specifically for the F-150. The only thing will change is where you're going to get your power source. But everything else I'm going to show you will work for any year F-150 or any other half-ton, three-quarter ton truck for that matter. We're going to be using the pump from Maxpeeding rods. You can get this pump with discount code TurboTime from maxpeedingrods.com for about 140 bucks. Everything else we're going to be using is about $30 off of Amazon, and I'm going to show you guys how to put all of this together, and we're going to go ahead and install it on the TurboTime F-150 today. That way the truck can be lowered 3.5, but we can still tow to the max capacity of this truck without any squat. All right guys, today's video is going to be a quick one. We're putting on the bags before we go ahead and put on our airbag controller for the Ride Tech bags. They're real simple to put on. They bring a little bottom bracket that bolts where your brake lines and little harness is held on. And then it's just the two bolts that hold this top part to the frame rail. You snake their little bolts from behind. So there's really not much to the bags. So now we're just going to go ahead and run our preliminary lines. All right guys, so the way this kit comes, you get your pump. It's in this nice sealed box. They want you to mount this inside the cab. This will be the momentary switch, and this is to let air out along with a gauge. They send a nice complete kit. It comes complete with the air lines and the wiring and stuff that you should need, along with plenty of tees and everything else, and this is their base kit. I didn't want to have to run all of this stuff inside my cab, and I didn't want to drill into my dash to put this, so I opted to do it a little different. So what we have over here, bring you guys a little bit closer. So what we have over here is what I've come up with to make this setup wireless. So we're going to tee this into the tow package 12 volt, and here we have the two momentary switches. These are very popular for like LED lights and stuff like that on off-road stuff. So we're going to be able to, with this remote as well as on the actual we're going to be able to go A for up, B for down. This is going to be our relief valve. This is a normally closed pneumatic valve. So when we put power to this, it opens and it's going to let the air out of the bags. When we go ahead and power A, that's going to go from right here directly to our pump positive, and that's going to turn on our pump. So we'll be able to pump up the bags as well as deflate the bags right from this remote. Comes with two remotes. This is about 25 bucks. This I want to say was like $10, and then some miscellaneous fittings and electrical stuff. I normally solder things, but I know a lot of guys don't like to solder or don't know how. I picked up these heat shrink connectors. So what these do is they have the solder inside, and when you put heat to it, the solder melts, as well as creating a so it solders while heat shrinking at the same time to create a nice watertight connection like what we've made on these. So let's get this truck up in the air and let's get going. All right, so really quick before we actually get this thing up in the air, I'm just going to cover the wiring real fast. So these are very basic. Let's see if it'll focus. They have a positive and negative in and a positive and negative out. So your power in, your power out. The only thing that had a positive and a negative right on it was the pneumatic valve. So That one has its in and out. What I did was join all the other grounds as well as the power sources. So that way we have a nice, neat, fusible link for our power, and we have our ground cable. So this entire thing is going to be powered by just power and ground. As soon as we have power and ground, this remote will work. Now, as far as the rest of it, obviously the out on A switch is going to come to this positive, and this will be grounded to the same place that we mount our pump. We're going to possibly ground this to the same place we mount the pump to. We're going to see how it all looks and what the spacing looks like when we're actually under the truck. All right, guys, I'm sorry for the noise. It is pouring rain outside, and this is a little steel building. But since I deleted my spare tire, this is where I mounted the pump. As you can see, the lines just run from the bag. They come to the T. I teed this off to the pump, and then that comes here to our release valve. I went ahead and mounted the switches right here with some double-sided tape. Everything's right behind the tag. We're going to go ahead and power it from right here. I just need to put a T together and we'll be able to put this on the ground and test it. I grounded it over here on the regular chassis ground that's already there. But I think it came out pretty clean. It's completely out of sight. All right, guys, so to wrap this up, we got our controller here. We hit A, it begins to pump up the bags. You hear the pump come on. The only thing about this setup is it doesn't have a gauge, but this pump only goes to about 70 PSI and the bags are good to 100. So we're never gonna be over capacity on the bags. And I usually keep pretty much no air in the bags when I'm not towing. So we go ahead and hit A, the pump stops. We hit B, it releases. And right there, the valve stays open. You click B again to close the valve. If this content helps you, if you like it, share, like, subscribe. I do have the unboxing of the whole On3 kit coming up, and we will also be doing a full install series of that On3 kit along with a JD fuel system. We're gonna try to push this truck to be about an 800 wheel horsepower street truck. So if you guys wanna join me on the journey, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.